Hola, Taboo Breakers. Bienvenidos a Taboo Talks Latina Edition. Yo soy Cynthia.
And I'm Jeanette, and here at Taboo Talks, we keep it real, raw, and rooted in our cultura. This is the space where we shed the silence, speak on the truth our abuelas were told to hide, and celebrate the stories that make us powerful mujeres.
We break cycles, honor our voices, and amplify the mujeres changing the game. Lo que nadie quiere decir, we say it here with heart, laughter, and healing. Today's guest is a creative powerhouse whose work has moved millions. She's not only written chart-topping hits with artists like Little Mix and Pitbull, but she's also the voice behind anthems that speak directly to your soul. From pop to healing lullabies, from viral lyrics to children's books, she's proof that music can be both revolution and remedy.
With two UK #1 singles, over 1 million Spotify streams, and 50 plus million views on Instagram, she's using her voice and her story to empower women, mothers, and children everywhere. As a Latina artist, songwriter, and creative coach, she's breaking barriers and healing wounds through storytelling. Heidi Rojas, welcome to Taboo Talks Latina Edition. We are so honored to have you here with us today.
Oh my gosh, what an intro. Thank you so much. I'm like just honored. I'm receiving all of those words of encouragement right now. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Deserve. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, it's such an honor. And of course, before we dive in, we would love to just open, the floor for you. Let us in. For those who don't know your full journey or who Heidi is behind the hits and the highlights, walk us through your journey. What brought you to this moment in your creative path?
That's such a great question. I've been writing songs since I was a little kid. I started singing in church when I was little and I just believed in the power of music, of songwriting, of lyrics to impact someone in the way that I'm a huge proponent of therapy. I've been in therapy for 11 years, but I do believe that a 3-minute song can be like years of processing of therapy, in a little bite-size kind of, that's the power I believe music has. And so I always wanted to make an impact, but I moved to Texas for school. I went to Baylor, and then that took me to Nashville, where I started working at a record label. And then I moved to LA, where I wanted to be an artist and fell into writing for other artists and really enjoyed helping others share their voice. I think mostly because I just hadn't discovered mine, and supporting others felt kind of the next best thing. Then I had my daughter. She's going to be 7 in December, and she changed my life. It was really hard to go back to writing and helping other people share their voice when I wanted to be, with my girl. And also, if I was going to help someone share something, I wanted to relate to it. I wanted it to be something more, just meaningful. And so I was really, really picky. I started signing artists with a friend of mine to just try to be more passionate about what I was doing. And I helped some young female artists like navigate this like super male dominated industry. And then from that was like, wait a second, like I could do this again. Like I could share my music. But really it was the linchpin of it all was that I started writing these songs that were impactful to me. The first one that I ever wrote was this song called La Situación, which was about, me really kind of diving into my identity as a Latina and what it has always felt like growing up in the Midwest and being here. And so that song led to like, I Am Enough, which is just like, yeah, I'm 200%. I'm American and I'm also and so then that song led to Madre Creator and the song. So I just started writing other, songs for myself. And I felt this deep calling from God, my ancestors, from my inner knowing that I needed to just share them somehow, put them out there. And so here we are. I'm 39 now and I'm releasing music like if I were a Dua Lipa or Billie Eilish in my early 20s. And I'm doing it so differently. I'm just having fun and expressing myself and calling in anyone who it resonates with and to like, let's do life together. Let's heal together. Let's experience. I love what you said, like revolution and remedy. I'm like, yeah, that my songs have they kind of like spark both of those. That's amazing. It's an honor. So that's my journey from, like, how did I get here? It's kind of where that's my story. That's how I got here.
And it's beautiful to see how your songs, like we've discussed, is storytelling, right? Because I think that we're missing that in
Mm.
today's world, in this generation, where music is just make it sound good, make it rhyme, and just put a mix together, right? Now it's like really like connecting and listening to the lyrics and being like, wow, I feel seen, I feel heard, right? Like I can relate, which is why as moms, Cynthia and I both really relate with your songs because it's like, oh my gosh, like she understands us, right?
Mm.
And it's a song that we can play at any time of the day and it makes us feel good and it reminds us of our power. So cheers to you on that because it's really hard and also as a songwriter to gather all those thoughts and put them into words. And you do an amazing, beautiful job doing that.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
and
you.
I'm like a lyrics person, like, I love
Mhm.
listening to the lyrics, like, I love a good beat, like, don't get me wrong, but the lyrics, I just love it. Every time I play music, I'm like, "Okay, let me hear, like, what are they saying?" And I think that's what really captivated me about your music because the words have meaning to it. And healing too, like a lot of healing power. Like we were just talking before we press record, the Madre Creator. I'm like, that song, it just reminds me, like, as a mother, like that's what we were meant to do, like be mothers. And when you have a full-time job and you're wearing so many hats, it can become so stressful and so overwhelming to the point where you're like, I'm not meant to wear all these hats. I'm just meant to be like a mom. For me, it's just like I just want to be a mom. I don't want like this full-time job. Like, yes, I'm grateful, don't get me wrong, but it's like I just want to, sit in that season of just being a mom.
Totally. That's
And there's
beautiful.
power in that. And I know you've created music that feels like love letters to your inner child. And in
Mhm.
doing so, you've helped so many of us reconnect with parts of ourselves we thought we had to hide. How
Mm.
has revisiting your own childhood wounds inspired the music you now create?
It's everything. When I held my daughter for the first time, me cambió, like my DNA just like started to really weave into this like madre creator, this
Yeah.
warrior. I was like, I will be her. I will be this everything I've ever dreamed of becoming because she deserves it. And I don't want to like imposter my way through motherhood. I want to just like really embody all of the strength and all the confidence that I want her to grow up having. So, um, I had already been in therapy, talking to somebody once a week, unpacking like the micro things. Like I had a beautiful childhood, but I still was able to like put everything on the table and be like, oh yeah, that actually really messed me up. That's actually hurt my feelings. This affected me. And so putting all of that out on the table through motherhood was really helpful because I dealt with my perfectionism. I dealt with my just like this high expectations that I put on myself and to be fair on others and how that was shaping my relationships, my lack of boundaries, I had literally have a song about everything. And
Love it.
I just recorded a song yesterday about how really hard on myself, and when I make mistakes, I miss I focus on the one mistake and I miss all the 99 things I did right, you know?
Yeah.
And how we do that as women and as mothers. And so as humans, but looking at the first 10 years of our lives it's really just, it's the data, it's the information that we can use because the next however long we get to live is really just a response. It's just a reaction to those 10 years. And who wants to live in bondage from these 10 years that we had the least control over our lives? Like I want to live in freedom. I want to be liberated from all the things I couldn't control and celebrate who I've become based on how those experiences sharpened me. So I'm just like, the fact that I'm so grateful that I have music, that I have song, the gift of songwriting, of just the love of it, to be able to have closed a lot of chapters of my life with the song. When I recognized my immigrant parents for all of the incredible things that they did, I was able to write a song about my dad having left the revolution of Cuba. He came from the US from Cuba to the US in 69. His story is unbelievable. And he was 7. To be like, damn, if he does nothing else for me, and he's done a million of other things for me, if he does nothing else for me today, if he passes me the baton, like, que chingón, like that guy is the coolest. it helped me to to write that song, um, and just recognize like the sacrifices that he's made. And so everything that I've uncovered and that I've faced head on of my childhood has shaped who I am as a woman, as a daughter, as a mother, as a wife, as a friend, as a sibling. And I read something the other day that shook me to the core. It said, we deal with our shadows, or our shadows raise our children.
Ooh.
I have
And
goosebumps.
Wow.
right? Right? It wrecked me. I was like,
Wow.
oh my God. I mean, I just got goosebumps saying it again because it's like,
Yeah.
that is it. And that's the truth. And so I have been facing, I can say like really proudly, and that music has been supporting me. My songs have been supporting me the whole way, that I have been facing my shadows. There's not one that I have been too scared to look at. Like, I know I have more to uncover. Like, okay, I've arrived. Like, I'm all good.
Yeah.
But I'm not scared. And I think that my songs have empowered me to know that I can overcome, I can do it. I can look at my shadows straight in the face because they will not follow me as I raise these leaders. And so that has been really amazing. But I do understand, and I don't take it lightly, how hard it is to face, that we all have a lot of our history can be really, really challenging to open up to. And so, but that's why started to share my songs, because I was told by a lot of people to be grateful for my proximity to whiteness, to be grateful for being a woman, to be grateful for it, 1,000 different things. Just be grateful. And that's how you keep people quiet. That's how you keep people unhealed, right? Because they never find a safe space where they're validated enough to go, you know what, that experience may have been hard too. We're not going to put a hierarchy of, on the scale of who had it worse and who had it better. Like, yeah, I should keep my mouth shut, but I deserve to be healed too. That way I can advocate for those who had it harder, who had a harder experience, right? That's how we can all build community and not be like tit for tat trying to, see who deserves to, if we all face our shadows, we can all come together and really heal the world together, because that's what it takes. So if I can put the music out and it can empower someone to be like, to find each other in our brokenness, let's find each other in our brokenness and then support each other to heal together, is everything to me. It's what I've always wanted to do with songs. So,
That's
yeah.
beautiful. Your words is like therapy to my
I
ears.
know. I'm like,
It's like I'm
this is
listening
like a
to her and I'm
therapy
so
session.
relaxed. I'm like, all right. No, but it's true because this is big on our taboo talks, right?
Mm.
Which is stuff that we don't talk about. We're trying to break free from. And like Cynthia and I always say, es calladita, te ves más bonita. That's what
Mhm.
they go us by. Not anymore, right? Like we have to speak up. We have to break those chains
Mhm.
without bringing down our loved ones or our family. They didn't know any better, right? So we're here to break free from that. And the way that you use music to reconnect with yourself, to heal, it's just beautiful. Because I know most of us, right? It's like journaling, seeking therapy. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's power in music
Mhm.
because it's like when you go through a breakup, right? Why is it that we listen to the most depressing songs and we
Yes.
watch the most depressing movies that makes you cry more? Same thing when you're happy. You just want to pump up good music. But it's the way that we kind of heal in the process is crazy, but music is number one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think there's
Totally.
something so special about your soul connecting to the words and the beat that's being played, and it's so soothing and healing. It's amazing. So, thank you for doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah, and there's a beautiful vulnerability in your lyrics, like we mentioned, but also a collective strength. What drives you to write music, not just for entertainment, right, but for empowerment, especially for Latinas or for just women overall?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that there's so many reasons. When I had my daughter, I had a placental abruption during delivery, so which means like the placenta was coming away from my uterus, and so she wasn't getting oxygen. So we had like an emergency, like we need to push her out. So I herniated a disc in my lower back, and then a year later, I had my son. While I got pregnant. My daughter was like 13 months old. So then I'm just like, okay, we're doing this, and then we're doing this, and I neglected my body, and I was going through postpartum depression with my daughter the entire time, and it really got heavy. It was a really intense, magical, but also like really intense time. I mean, my friendship groups all shifted during that time. My OCD got pretty intense. Like it was hard. And I have always gone to music to help me feel better. I mean, I can list the bands that have really walked me through different parts, or the artists that have walked me through different parts of my life. For some reason, in that specific time, as like a new mother with all these different shifts and things happening, there wasn't any music that felt like it was speaking to me, like resonating to me the way that I really needed to be pulled out of just the war zone. And so it was interesting how my son so it was 2023. So he was like 2, you know? And I was starting to feel like, okay, I'm out of the infant stage, but now I have 2 toddlers, but I feel a little bit stronger, I went for the first time to the doctor to talk about my back and my neck. Ends up I had 3 herniated discs in my neck, 2 in my lower back now, because my body just kept deteriorating because I just kept having babies and prioritizing other people's bodies over mine. Of course, it's what we do. And these songs they were just the cries of my soul, like the depths of my spirit. What I wanted to say, but I didn't know how to even say it. How do I explain to my amazing white husband my experience as a ni de aquí ni de allá Latina? Like how do I explain that I can feel my ancestors, like I can call them in and I feel them like in my bones? How do I explain the feeling like alone in the trenches of motherhood and watching my friends and like navigate motherhood and be so brutally hard on themselves, but also and say like, you're doing such an amazing job. While like, I'm like get frustrated that they don't even see how amazing they are, but then I'm looking in the mirror and not seeing how amazing I am. Right. So how can I convince them when I haven't convinced myself? Like Madre Creator came from a place of like desperation of saying like, wait a second, I'm looking at this creation, this incredible human being I created. At this point, I had both my kids, so I created like balls and, and a penis. I created a vagina. I created every body part that exists, and like in my womb, and I was chosen by God to do that, right? So wow, like I think we're missing it all. I think we're missing the point. Patriarchy, here's how they benefit again, right? By making us question our power the comments I get sometimes from that song, who you're just a container. You're just you don't, like there are men
Oh my
who, there
gosh.
is a whole
Yeah.
system of men who
Imagine.
really want to make sure that we think that we're just de lo menos, ¿verdad?
Yeah.
And because there's so much power and it's dangerous for men when we realize how incredibly,
Yeah.
just iconic we are. And so I wrote, long story short, out of a need for the words for myself. So like I needed an anthem to sing. So I wrote it. I needed a lullaby to regulate my feelings because my 2 toddlers were driving me completely crazy. And I didn't know how to show up, not as my wounded shadow self, but as my empowered Madre Creator, like, that has been working through her shit for years and doesn't have to go on that roller coaster with him. I can be the adult. I can be the, voice of reason. And so I wrote the feeling song for us, not because I was like, let me help my son. It was like, let me help us, right? In
Yeah.
the trenches
That's
of this
powerful.
tantrum, because I am not okay right now either. I wrote every song for myself because I needed the words to mirror back to like go into my brain and to reprogram everything I was resisting, to accept and to claim. And so that's kind of how they all come up. And I share them without really knowing what I'm doing. I never imagined that they would resonate the way they have. I'm so honored. I have so many more songs, and I worked in the music industry for 15 years. I was told over and over that anyone over 27, especially a woman, is old. Is outdated, has nothing to say. But what I've realized is that I've never had more to say in my late
Oof.
30s. I will have more to say in my 40s. And this society has is crippling itself by not listening to the wisdom of women. Older, right? Like of women in their prime, 30s, i.e. 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, because, but again, that's how, when you make the source a young person who hasn't experienced as much, or who is singing about, the top 40 is great. A lot of my friends wrote those songs. I have nothing negative to say about it. It just doesn't resonate with me and where I'm at in my life, And so, the marketing is very direct. Like there's, because when we use music as a resource to heal, it becomes a weapon against everything they want us to think about ourselves.
So
And
true.
then we become more powerful, and then don't let that happen. So then let's make every 27-year-old and above think that their time's up.
Mm.
And it's
So
like, if
true.
I can throw a few rocks into the engine of that system, like I would really like that, because I believe that we have more wisdom and more to say through our age. And I think that's the party I want to go to. That's the group of people I want to be around. And so my music, if it resonates with that movement, those women who are just like at any age pursuing their passions and sharing what they've learned, like I just want to be a part of that group of friends.
Oh, you're doing an
So that's
amazing
why I'm
job.
really
Sign us up,
big.
us too. I love it. Yeah, no, you're doing one hell of a job. And we also want to talk about your beautiful children's book. I am not, I am enough. Soy fuerte ya. What inspired that project, and what impact do you hope it leaves, especially for young girls that are growing up today?
So the project was inspired. It was so crazy because I had a few encounters where I had manifested I want to have a children's book from one of my songs. And I was at a birthday party, and we were around a campfire, and this woman was like, put her hand on my arm and said, I just received a download for you. Do this, whatever that you wish. You're meant to write a children's book. And I just looked up at her and I was like, I have the contract in my inbox.
Wow.
And it was just like so many different confirmations that felt, and this song in particular, I Am Enough, is the song that I wrote in response to all of my what ifs and all my questioning of myself and my worth but also and recognizing the strength of the people who came before me. My mom comes from a family in Nicaragua who escaped the war to Guatemala. And then my mom came to the United States from Guatemala when she was 16. And my dad, he grew up in Cuba, and they escaped the revolution and moved to Lansing, Michigan. And from there, they come from Spain. And from there, they come from, it's like this crazy line of people, very complicated history. So much has been overcome for me to sit here and question myself on whether I should put up a reel about a song I wrote. What if somebody makes fun of me? It's like, come on,
Yeah.
chula, like get over yourself. Like I'm not asking you to pick up a sword and risk your life. Like I can do what I'm being called to do here. And so putting it in a book for children meant for me at the very least that, and how beautiful of an experience it has been to share this with my children, that it took me 35 years to channel the wisdom and the power that I have in my bones from the people that I come from. And if I can instill this in them when they're 4 and 6, at the time, when I wrote the song, they were like 3 and 5, maybe even 2 and 4, is 3 decades ahead of me, and those kinds of advances. It's like playing Monopoly and you get to like pass go, collect 200, the whole
Yeah.
thing, right?
Yeah.
Um, it's it's like what a gift to share with them. So, the book came out through Contolo Press, which was an amazing friendship with Naive Reynoso, who's a publisher of a really beautiful boutique bilingual children's book line. And I don't know how to market children's books. I don't know how to promote anything to people that I want them to buy from me. Like, I don't know. I'm not a salesman. I don't know. It feels weird. And my intention was always just to share. So if I could, I would just give the book away. But so it came out, and I pray and I believe that it will land in the right hands, that I will someday be able to do it even more justice in promotions and making sure that people receive this book. But right now, what I know is that I'm still quite in the trenches with the kids, and that I'm, with their ages, and I want to be there. And I'm not going to, I'm allowing the book right now to just like flow freely in the world. It would mean so much for everyone to have especially with what's happening in our country and how
Yeah.
immigrants are being hunted and torn from our streets. And I live in Los Angeles. And so it is very much a part of our daily lives. And it's, respecting our heritage and respecting immigrants and their contributions to the world, and how we are all immigrants essentially, it's so important right now. And I just have to honor that my limitations and what I'm, best at, which is writing songs, and so I have my vision for the book, I think, is that this is just the birth of it, and it's in its infancy, and I hope that it has a beautiful long life, and that it resonates with everyone who comes in contact, because it's fun to read a book while playing the song, right? It's fun to
Yeah.
follow along and sing a story, because then it's like a multi-dimensional experience that creates a longer lasting impact, because you don't even need carry the book around with you to receive the message of like, I'm enough. There's, there are generations of strength that came before me that I carry inside. And so I don't need to question myself right now. I was created for this moment. So let's go.
So powerful. I love it. No, and the fact that you do songs for mothers, women, right? And then now the children's book, like, it's just beautiful to see that, because again, it's something that we can, as moms, relate, but also we can teach our kids, and we can also be the example of breaking those chains.
Absolutely. And I hope it's the first of many. And it's generational. Like we're reparenting ourselves as we parent these kids. Like
Yeah.
that is the bravest thing to do. And so it's an honor to be a resource for women, for mothers who then can create connecting moments with our kiddos. Because then it's like that generational healing where we're going to end up completely different destination. Our kids will end up at a completely different destination because we're doing the work together. That's cool.
100%.
I love that. And what is one taboo you're still trying to break?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. I think I'm really trying to, because I struggle with anxiety. My postpartum depression was pretty intense with my son too. I came out of that having learned a lot about myself, including I'm a Cancer. Like I learned a lot more about astrology, and what I grew up with people telling me I was too sensitive my whole life. And then I read that Cancers are sensitive, and I'm like, Cancers are sensitive, okay? This is who
You
I
know,
am. Like it's
I'm
one of
empath.
my superpowers, and people have been using it against me my whole life. But like I'm also learned that I'm an extroverted introvert. The pandemic was kind of like my like a pretty great in the sense that like I was at home all day my entire second pregnancy, and I didn't have any FOMO because there was nothing to miss out on. I was just like at home with my daughter, pregnant. Then going back out into the world, I was like, gosh, this is really like social interactions, like really hard. And that's where a lot of these songs started coming from. Cause I was like, why do I want to stay home? We've been at home for 2 years. And learning that like actually have very limited social like bandwidth with, where I give of myself entirely for 2 hours and then I got to go be alone. And that's okay. I don't think I was ever, I didn't know that about myself, because everyone's always like, you're such an extrovert. You're so outgoing. Right. And I kind of I made that true until I would burn out. And I never understood why I was so exhausted. But it's because I'm not meant to be like that. Like I'm supposed to like give of myself for a couple hours, and like I'm all in. But then I really need time alone. I need time for myself. I learned that also through motherhood, because time for myself doesn't exist when you're with your kid.
Yeah.
And it's kids. It's like mommy, 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 mommy. You
You're
know?
like, what? And then they do this random dance, and you're like, okay, next.
Yeah. Look what I can do. And I'm like, that's awesome. Can I have 2 more minutes to finish pooping?
Yeah.
You're just like, so all of that to say that I think one thing, that I'm still trying to break is like accepting and owning who I am. Like, really, yes, I am entirely a sensitive person that actually can hurt me sometimes, but it makes me so much more it makes me so much more of all these really rich, like beautiful things about me. And so you can't have one without the other. So deal with it or go find another friend. That's totally cool too, right? And so really owning that all the time, unapologetically. And then also my anxiety, really, noticing when I feel like my heart is a little bit racy, I'm starting to get a little uncomfortable. What is it about my environment that's making me feel un poco ansiosa? Can I take a deep breath? Can I ask for a hug? Can I go and talk to somebody about it? Do I need to sing? Do I need to go play the piano? Do I need to, do I need to meditate? Do I need to just go crawl into a hole and suck my thumb? Like, just can I show up for myself right now? Listen to that voice. Because I veces que we're on the like grind and we're just like moving and moving and we don't notice it until we like freak out or have a panic attack or and I don't want to get to those places. I really want to be my own friend in my head and talk through, okay, I'm feeling un poco fuera de mi cuerpo ahorita. I need to like recalibrate. I need to recenter, and so that's another thing I'm really trying to really get better at.
No, and it's a good reminder that we all need to, especially as mothers, wives, working full time jobs or following your entrepreneurship journey. Like it gets very busy. And we're constantly, like we shared before we hit record, that we're changing multiple hats, but we don't have that time for ourselves until it's too late or until we're like, what can I do? Like, why am I feeling this way? So, reconnecting with yourself is as important. So, thank you for that reminder because I'm sure we all need it.
Totally. Of course.
And before we jump into our favorite segment, let's have some fun with a quick lightning round. We're going to
Okay.
ask you 3 questions. The first thing that comes to mind, feel free to share.
Okay.
One artist you'll love to collaborate with, dream big.
Oh my gosh. Okay. The first one that I thought of was Bomba Stereo.
Ooh,
Love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, we're manifesting it here at Taboo Talks.
Alicia Keys too. I mean,
whoa,
we're going
that will
like
be
massive,
with
like
your voice too.
Alicia Keys would
Oh my
be
God, yeah.
incredible, right? I would love that. Gosh, Lauryn Hill is my favorite artist in the whole entire
Let's
world.
keep manifesting it. Yes, why
Thank
I
you.
not?
love it. Okay, so what's a song that instantly lifts your spirit?
A song that instantly lifts my spirit. The song right now is and I'm gonna forget her name, but is it Ileana Rose?
Oh, I love that
Me lo
song.
merezco. It just feels so good and summery this year. Has just felt like an awesome anthem that makes me feel good. Another one is from like the fact when every time that Unwritten has its like comeback, like Natasha Bedingfield's "The
Hmm.
rest is still unwritten. Feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you." I've written with her, and she's an amazing friend of mine. And every time I hear that song, it's just like without fail, because I remember this, it's the 20-year anniversary of that song. And I remember 20 years ago just being, or maybe it was, no, it's 20 years. Yeah. I remember being in high school and just being like, this is the best song ever.
Yeah.
And so when you can be taken back to a place and then also it still makes you feel good now, it's like reconnecting with your younger self and kind of like dancing around with your younger self. It just feels like a deep moment.
Love
So
it.
I
And
love that
thank
song.
you for the free concert.
I know, I love that.
I'm like, yes, we got to hear you sing live.
Oh my gosh, you're funny. Thank you.
Okay, and last, what would 10-year-old Heidi say if she saw you now?
Oh my gosh. I don't think she could even believe where I'm at now. She just, but then at the same time, like sometimes, I don't know, she was a badass. 10-year-old Heidi was like uh, she was fearless still. I was that second grade? Yeah, I was pretty fearless. It was probably third or fourth grade where things got, like kind of felt like I was climbing up a mountain more. Heidi, she was pretty she was still pretty fearless. And so maybe she would be like, yeah, girl, of course, this is what was always going to happen, right?
So
And
beautiful.
and then I would tell her, like, don't listen. Everything you hear for the next like 10 years, don't listen. Don't listen to it. It's all lies to
Mm,
disconnect you from your inner knowing. And it's just going to prolong all the impact that you're going to have. But you'll get there and it'll be fine. It'll be great. But like, just try to mute everything out.
Mm.
But ultimately, I think it would be so fun to talk to her and just get it I'm sure she'd give me advice because I think she really was like quite fearless. Aidita,
that's beautiful.
10-year-old
I have goosebumps.
Heidi.
I love that. All right, y ahora sí, let's bring la Tia Chismosa. That Tia that always has like, these little smart comments. I feel like she'll say, y eso de ser cantante paga bien. She would probably also say, no dejes el trabajo ni los estudios. We can hear her say that. So
Uh-huh.
if she saw you today, the woman you've become today, and the songs you've written, what do
Mm.
you think she would say?
Oh my gosh, that is such a fun question. And I think that, there's two different ways that she could go about like depending on the day, right? Like on a Sunday, she's going to be like, mira, la Heidi está haciendo todo esto de meditación, está todo esto de la yoga y de ser creadora, si es que se cree que es Dios. What is she like? She thinks she's God or something, and she needs to go to church. She needs, but then also like the La Tia Chismosa is also pretty. She's kind of eclectic and fun and like secretly cool. So I feel like she could also be like, La Heidi, like, Heidi's really just going for it. She's just doing what she wants and she doesn't care what people think. Like, that's pretty brave and pretty cool, and I would like to think that she sees that and goes, I mean, who can judge somebody who's just, like, being authentic and being real, you know? I think that chisme comes from a place of insecurity, and we can every time I feel the urge, I say, "Okay, what is this saying about me? Why do I feel weird about this? Why do I think this is even chisme?" Because it hits something that I can
Yeah,
place that I can grow. And so I would like to think that she would see it and maybe be inspired by like, I'm gonna go do what I want to do. Like that would, looks like Heidi's having fun. And that's, kind of who can judge that? I think that, it says more about someone else, I think. And if they're judging us who are living out our dreams and daring to be cringe, for the sake of community and healing and love and purpose and all of those things, I think it's kind of hard to get, criticar, right? Like
Yeah.
go for it, try, but it's kind of cool. And so I'd like to think she would think that too.
I love that. We
Nailed
love a
it.
good Tia.
Oh yeah. Everybody's, you got to have one.
Yeah.
Keeps you humble, keeps you on your toes.
Yes. And of course, before we wrap up, can you please tell our listeners where they can find you and if you have any projects coming up that you can share with us?
Yeah, so you can find me Heidi Rojas Music on all my platforms. HeidiRojas.com is my website. I also do songwriting coaching because I love the idea of helping bring, your ideas to life. And anyone can be a songwriter, which is amazing. And so as far as new music, I've been working this summer just recording new songs that I've been writing and trying to figure out, okay, how can I get back into the swing of putting new music out. So there'll be new songs that hopefully we can heal and dance and connect over before the end of the year. And I'm excited to share that too.
I can't wait to
Awesome.
tune in. We'll make sure that we include everything on the show notes. Thank you for showing us that music can be a form of resistance and radical self love. Your
Mm,
journey reminds us that we're not just healing, we're rewriting the future one lyric at a time. We appreciate you. Thank you.
thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for being here and thank you for using your voice to empower, uplift, and inspire. You're a reflection of everything Taboo Talk stands for: bold, beautiful, and rooted in purpose. And of course, to our beautiful taboo breakers, this is your reminder: your story is your power, your voice is your gift. Don't ever silence it. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Y como siempre, chicas, we'll see you next time on Taboo Talk Latina Edition, where we keep breaking cycles, breaking silence, and breaking taboos. Thank you, Heidi.
Thank you, madre, madre, creator. Yo soy madre, creator.
Yes,
Gracias. Las quiero mucho. Thank you.
Mente.